You want to know why aliens don't fuck with humans no more? Because we have a nasty habit of tearing their shit up when they try. Lawrence Scorer was the baddest motherfucker the Earth Defense Force had. A former Navy SEAL, he knew over 200 ways to kill a hostile with his bare hands. So when some pansy-ass galactic council of prissy blue aliens summoned him to their ship, he knew they needed him to clean up one of their messes. "Human, you must help us," pleaded Rigor, a four-armed freak towering over Lawrence. "Your unique brain signature is the only thing that can get close to this ancient progenitor ship. Its energy pulses will make the stars explode." Lawrence cracked his knuckles. Another day, another alien clusterfuck that only a human could unfuck. See, humans may not have the Talaxians' fancy telepathy or the Zorgans' quantum laser dicks, but what humans did have was the grit to get shit done when the galaxy needed saving. "I'll do it," Lawrence growled. "Not because I give a shit about your council, but because if that ship makes the stars go supernova, it'll fry Earth too. And I'll be damned if I let some ancient alien shit-stains snuff out my homeworld." Lawrence knew this was a one-way trip. The energy on that ship would cook anyone who tried to get close. Anyone but a human. The fate of the whole fucking universe rested on his shoulders now. All because he had the only pair of balls tough enough to handle it. Time to show these ETs what humans were made of. They thought Homo sapiens were just some backwater pansies. Bullshit. It was time to let them know that you don't fuck with the baddest species to crawl out of Earth's gravity well. The galaxy's new biggest swinging dick was on the job now. This progenitor ship was about to learn that humans were its daddy. And daddy was coming in hot, locked and loaded to give this alien tin can the rogering of a lifetime. Time to save the day. Lawrence boarded the EDF starship Prometheus, a real beaut of a ship, all sleek lines and more guns than a Texas militia rally. His team was tiny but tough. There was Dr. Elias Hoffman, a 45-year-old egghead who knew more about ET tech than those little grey bastards themselves. And flying the ship was Lieutenant Zach Reeves, a 28-year-old ace pilot who could thread a needle with a goddamn warship. As the Prometheus zipped through hyperspace, Lawrence pored over the Galactic Council's mission brief. The progenitor ship was parked out in the ass end of space, the Zeta Reticuli system. The place was a real shithole, full of cosmic fuckery and weird anomalies that would make your nuts shrivel up. When they dropped out of FTL by the ship's coordinates, Lawrence nearly shit his spacesuit. This ancient alien rust bucket was fucking huge, over 100 clicks long. It made the Prometheus look like a kid's toy in comparison. "Hoffman, Reeves, suit up," barked Lawrence as he stomped towards the armory. "The Council gave us some fancy armor to deal with this ship's energy field. Let's hope it works, or we're going to end up crispier than a bucket of KFC. The team loaded into the shuttle, sealed up tight in their EDF power armor. As Reeves piloted them closer to the progenitor ship, a swarm of little drones poured out of the thing's hull like angry bees from a hive. "Shit, we've got incoming!" yelled Reeves, juking the shuttle hard to starboard. "Fucking drones!" Lawrence jumped on the shuttle's gun, blasting the little robotic bastards to scrap. Reeves was one hell of a pilot, dodging and weaving like a pro, but there were too damn many of the things. They peppered the shuttle with laser fire, frying systems left and right. "We're going down!" Reeves shouted, alarms blaring as he wrestled with the dying ship. "Brace for impact!" The shuttle slammed into the progenitor ship's hull, skidding along the alien metal before coming to a wrenching stop. Lawrence shook off the crash, grabbing his pulse rifle. This was going to be one hell of a fight. But that was just how Lawrence liked it. Time to show these ancient alien fucks what a human could do. Lawrence dragged himself out of the crumpled shuttle, pulse rifle in hand. Reeves and Hoffman were right behind him, looking shaken but intact. The shuttle was totaled, sparking and hissing like a pissed-off snake, but at least they'd made it aboard this alien rust bucket. The surface of the progenitor ship was some freaky shit, covered in glowing symbols and patterns that made Lawrence's eyes water. It was like staring at a neon sign after chugging a bottle of Jack. "Hoffman, you got any idea what these squiggles mean?" Lawrence asked, keeping his rifle trained on the shadows. The doc shook his head, his eyes wide behind his helmet visor. Never seen anything like it, but if I had to guess, I'd say there's some kind of advanced alien language, maybe even a form of technology we've never encountered. Lawrence grunted. Great, more ET fuckery to deal with. Reeves, take point. Let's see what other surprises this ship has in store. The team ventured deeper into the ship, their armored boots clanging on the alien metal. It wasn't long before they ran into the first of the ship's defenses. A gravity well suddenly opened up beneath their feet, threatening to suck them in like a cosmic toilet bowl. Lawrence grabbed onto a jutting piece of the wall, holding on for dear life. Reeves and Hoffman did the same, their faces twisted with effort. Lawrence gritted his teeth and pulled out a grappling hook from his belt. With a flick of his wrist, he launched it at the far wall, creating a lifeline for the team. They clambered out of the gravity well's pull, sweat pouring down their faces. But there was no time to catch their breath. A swarm of Guardian drones descended on them, all whirring blades and crackling energy fields. Lawrence let loose with his pulse rifle, blasting the drones to scrap. Reeves joined in, his aim true as he picked off the bots one by one. Hoffman even got in on the action, frying a drone's circuits with a well-placed shot from his sidearm. But for every drone they destroyed, 2 more seemed to take its place. They were being herded deeper into the ship, forced to navigate a labyrinth of twisted corridors and cavernous chambers. For this place is like a fucking maze, Reeves panted, wiping sweat from his brow. How the hell are we supposed to find the reactor core in all this? Hoffman held up a hand, his eyes glued to a flickering console he'd managed to access. I think I might have something. These progenitors, they were an ancient race, millions of years old, technologically advanced, beyond anything we've ever seen. Lawrence leaned in, scanning the alien text scrolling across the screen. What about the reactor? Can you shut it down from here? Hoffman shook his head. No dice. Looks like the core is heavily shielded. We'll have to get to it physically to have any chance of stopping the energy field. Lawrence chambered a fresh round in his rifle. Then that's what we'll do. Reeves, Hoffman on me. We're going to shove a cork in this ship's arse if it's the last thing we do. They set off deeper into the ship, following the twisting corridors towards the heart of the vessel. But they didn't get far before a new threat emerged from the shadows. A squad of Talaxian commandos, all gleaming armor and crackling pulse blades, blocked their path. At their head was a scarred, sneering alien with hate in his eyes. Well, 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 the Talaxian leader drawled. What do we have here? A pack of filthy humans sticking their noses where they don't belong. Lawrence raised his rifle, his finger hovering over the trigger. Who the fuck are you? The Talaxian grinned, his sharp teeth glinting in the dim light. Commander Zortax of the Talaxian Empire, and you, human, are trespassing on our property. Hoffman's eyes widened. The Talaxians, what are you doing here? Zortax chuckled darkly. We've been monitoring this ship for years, waiting for the chance to claim its secrets for ourselves. And now, thanks to you bumbling apes, we finally have our opportunity. Lawrence snarled. Like hell you do. This ship is gonna blow and it'll take half the galaxy with it. We're here to stop it. Zortax shook his head, his eyes glinting with malice. Foolish human. The progenitor's technology is worth more than 1,000 of your pathetic worlds. We will harness its power and use it to crush all who oppose us. He leveled his pulse blade at Lawrence, the energy field crackling hungrily. Now surrender or die. Lawrence spat on the ground, his grip tightening on his rifle. I got a better idea, Squidface. How about you get the fuck out of our way before I redecorate this ship with your guts? Zortax's face twisted with rage. Insolent primate, you dare threaten me? I will flay the flesh from your bones. He charged forward, his commandos surging ahead with him. Lawrence opened fire, his pulse rounds tearing through the Talaxian's armor like tissue paper. Reeves and Hoffman joined the fray, their weapons spitting death as they fought to stay alive. The narrow corridors became a kill box, filled with the screams of the dying and the stench of burnt flesh. Lawrence ducked under a commando's swipe, slamming his rifle butt into the alien's face. Bone crunched and blood sprayed, but there was no time to celebrate. 2 more Talaxians were on him in an instant, their blades hungry for his flesh. He fought like a man possessed, his every move a brutal symphony of violence. Beside him, Reeves and Hoffman were holding their own, their armor scorched and dented but still intact. But Zortax was a force to be reckoned with, his pulse blade a blur of deadly energy as he carved through the humans' defenses. Lawrence found himself face to face with the Talaxian commander, their weapons locked in a crackling stalemate. "You fight well for a human," Zortax sneered, his face inches from Lawrence's. "But you are no match for the might of the Talaxian Empire." Lawrence head-butted the alien, feeling the satisfying crunch of cartilage. Zortax reeled back, his nose a ruined mess. "Funny," Lawrence growled, wiping blood from his mouth. "I was about to say the same thing to you." He lunged forward, his rifle forgotten as he grappled with the Talaxian commander. They rolled across the floor, trading blows that would have killed a lesser being. But Lawrence was a goddamn human, and he didn't know the meaning of the word quit. He wrapped his hands around Zortax's throat, squeezing with all his might. The Talaxian's eyes bulged, his face turning a sickly shade of purple. He clawed at Lawrence's arms, his pulse blade forgotten. Lawrence squeezed harder, feeling the alien's windpipe collapse beneath his fingers. Zortax let out a final gurgling gasp, and then went limp. The human released his grip, letting the Talaxian's corpse slump to the floor. He looked up, his chest heaving with exertion. Reeves and Hoffman were still standing, surrounded by a pile of Talaxian bodies. They looked like they'd been through hell, but they were alive. "You guys okay?" Lawrence asked, staggering to his feet. Reeves nodded, his face grim. "Yeah, but we're not done yet. Still got a reactor to shut down." Hoffman consulted his scanner, his brow furrowed. "The core should be just ahead, but I'm picking up some strange readings. Could be more defenses." Lawrence reloaded his rifle, his jaw set. "Then let's go say hello." They made their way to the reactor core, Reeves leaning heavily on Hoffman as he limped along, his leg a bloody mess. Scorer took point, his new progenitor rifle primed and ready. The thing felt good in his hands, solid and powerful, like it was made for him. The ship's halls twisted and turned, doubling back on themselves in a dizzying maze. But Hoffman's scanner kept them on track, guiding them ever closer to the pulsing heart of the vessel. They emerged into a cavernous chamber, the reactor core looming before them like a slumbering god. It was a massive sphere of swirling energy, crackling with raw power. Scorer could feel it thrumming in his bones, setting his teeth on edge. Hoffman eased Reeves down against a bulkhead, then hurried over to a nearby console. His fingers flew across the alien controls, his brow furrowed in concentration. "There," he said, pointing to a small device set into the base of the reactor. "That's the fail-safe mechanism, but it's keyed to progenitor biology, or at least something close to it." Scorer frowned. "What do you mean?" Hoffman looked up, his eyes wide behind his helmet visor. "I mean, it needs a human to activate it. That's why the Council sent you, Scorer. You're the only one who can shut this thing down." Scorer looked at the device, then back at Hoffman. "What's the catch?" The doctor hesitated. "The catch is it'll probably kill you. The fail-safe is designed to drain the reactor's energy, but it'll run that energy through your body in the process. No normal human could survive that." Reeves struggled to his feet, his face pale. "Scorer, you can't. It's suicide." Scorer shook his head. "It's the only way. If I don't do this, the whole galaxy burns. Earth burns." He strode forward, setting his rifle aside. The fail-safe device loomed before him, a small platform ringed with glowing progenitor runes. "Hoffman, how do I do this?" he asked, his voice steady. The doctor consulted his scanner. "You'll need to step onto the platform and place your hands on the control surfaces. The device will do the rest." Scorer nodded, then turned to his team. "If I don't make it, it's been an honor serving with you, both of you." Reeves clasped his shoulder. "Give 'em hell, sir." Scorer grinned. "That's the plan." He stepped onto the platform, the runes flaring to life beneath his feet. Energy crackled across his armor, dancing over his skin. He could feel it building, surging through his body like a raging river. He placed his hands on the control surfaces, and the world vanished in a blaze of searing light. Pain tore through him, his every nerve on fire. He could feel the reactor's energy coursing through his body, burning him from the inside out. But he held on, gritting his teeth against the agony. He was a human, damn it. He was built to endure, to fight, to win. Slowly, painfully, he forced the energy down, channeling it back into the reactor core. The sphere began to shrink, collapsing in on itself like a dying star. The ship shuddered around him, alarms blaring as systems failed and overloaded. With a final, wrenching surge, the reactor core vanished, winking out of existence like a snuffed candle. The energy field dissipated, the ship falling dark and silent. Scorer collapsed to the platform, his body smoking and charred. He could hear Hoffman and Reeves shouting his name, feel their hands on his shoulders. But it all seemed so distant, so far away. He had done it. He had saved the galaxy, saved Earth, and all it had cost was his life. As darkness closed in around him, Lawrence Scorer smiled. It had been one hell of a ride, and he wouldn't have traded it for anything in the universe. Scorer stood before the progenitor failsafe device, his jaw clenched with determination. This was it, the moment of truth. The fate of the galaxy rested on his shoulders. Dr. Hoffman grabbed his arm, his face etched with concern. "Scorer, you don't have to do this. We can find another way." Scorer shook his head. "There is no other way, Doc. You said it yourself. This thing needs a human touch, and I'm the only human here." He stepped forward, placing his hands on the control surfaces. The device hummed to life, ancient mechanisms stirring from their long slumber. Pain lanced through Scorer's body, a searing agony that threatened to consume him. He gritted his teeth, refusing to scream. He was a goddamn human. He could take it. And then the memories came. A flood of alien thoughts and sensations, pouring into his mind like a tidal wave. He saw the progenitors as they truly were, not the benevolent ancestors the galaxy believed them to be, but a cruel and merciless empire that had enslaved countless worlds. He saw their ships, vast and terrible, each one a weapon capable of snuffing out entire star systems. He saw the energy fields they generated, byproducts of their world-ending power. And he saw the Galactic Council, those lying bastards. They had known the truth all along, had sent him here not to save lives, but to secure the progenitors' technology for themselves. Rage bubbled up inside him, a fury that burned hotter than the pain racking his body. He channeled that anger, using it to fuel his efforts. With a final, wrenching surge, he shut down the reactor core. The device released him, and he collapsed to the deck, his body broken and spent. Alarms blared throughout the ship, warning of the impending self-destruct. Dr. Hoffman and Reeves were at his side in an instant, hauling him to his feet. They half-carried, half-dragged him through the corridors, racing against time. They burst into the hangar bay just as the Prometheus finished its docking sequence. The ship shuddered as explosions ripped through the progenitor vessel, tearing it apart from the inside. They stumbled aboard, sealing the airlock behind them. Reeves staggered to the cockpit, his hands flying over the controls. The Prometheus surged forward, fleeing the dying behemoth. Scorer lay on the deck, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He could feel his life slipping away, the last of his strength ebbing from his body. Dr. Hoffman knelt beside him, tears streaming down his face. "You did it, Scorer. You saved us all." Scorer managed a weak smile. "Not just us, Doc. The whole damn galaxy. But they'll never know the truth about the progenitors, about the Council." Reeves' voice crackled over the intercom. "We'll tell them, Scorer. We'll make sure they know what really happened here, what you sacrificed." Scorer nodded, his vision growing dim. He had done his duty, had given his life for something greater than himself. For the first time in his life, he knew peace. As the darkness closed in, he heard Dr. Hoffman's voice, distant and fading. "Scorer, Scorer, stay with me. Don't you die on me, you bastard. Don't you dare." But Lawrence Scorer, the galaxy's greatest hero, was already gone. His body remained a shell of the man he had been, but his spirit had fled, soaring among the stars he had fought so hard to protect. The Prometheus limped back to Earth, its crew battered and broken. Dr. Hoffman and Reeves were met with a hero's welcome, their names forever etched in the annals of history. But even as the galaxy celebrated their triumph, a shadow loomed over the proceedings. The truth about the progenitors, about the Galactic Council's deception, weighed heavily on their minds. They had won the day, but at what cost? The galaxy would never be the same, not after the revelations Skora had uncovered. The true nature of the progenitors, the lies of the Council, it would all come to light one way or another. Dr. Hoffman and Reeves exchanged a glance as they stepped off the Prometheus for the last time. They had a new mission now, a duty to the man who had given everything for the sake of the galaxy. Lawrence Skora's legacy would live on, a testament to the indomitable will of the human spirit, and the galaxy would remember his name long after the progenitors and the Council had faded into memory. For he was a human, and he had done what no other species could. He had saved them all at the cost of his own life, and that was a debt that could never be repaid. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.